Hello, Wid fam. This is Leo with One Happy Widow. This is our live session number 3 that we should have already had, but we do what we can do when we can do it, right? So I'm leaving the Facebook group open until we get through our 4 live sessions that you were promised. So you still have access to that. It looks like we might have somebody on with us today. So if you are here, feel free to put something in the chat and let me know that you're here. These live sessions are not meant to be the same long discussions that we put on YouTube. These are like short question and answer sessions. I've got a little topic I'm going to talk about. I'm going to go over the lessons that are in Module 3. So if you have not gotten to Module 3 yet, then you'll know what's in store for you on that module, because I will just do like a brief overview of what is in those modules. And then if you have questions or you want to share anything, then feel free to do that. This live session is being recorded. So if you have the link and you're in the group, you can watch it afterwards if you don't catch it live. However, this is not going to be something that's on public YouTube, like for anybody to watch. So this is just for the benefit of the people who are in the private Facebook group to watch live or to catch on the recording. So that's what we're doing here. I set my alarm this morning so that I could be sure to wake up on time. And that thing went off and I was like, why is my alarm going off on a Saturday morning? Like I almost turned that thing off and went right back to sleep. And then I remembered I have to do a live this morning. So that's getting me up and turning my heaters on and then turning them back off, regulating my temperature, taking all my medicines. Like I've been waking up itching from hives every day for like the past week, and I don't know why. So I've been scratching a lot, and I just took a Benadryl, which then makes you drowsy. So it's like a double-edged sword. I don't know where these hives are coming from. So I don't know if it's the change of season or if it's stress. I don't know. It's probably stress. Anyway, okay. So today we're talking about, I'm going to switch over to my table of contents to see what's in here. I'm using my notes on the screen here. So today is Module 3. It is talking about getting support. Okay. So every lesson in Module 3, there's 7 lessons in Module 3. Every lesson talks about the different types of support that are out there, how to find them, when you might know when you need them or if you need them. And so I might have needed to do that in week 1. I don't know. But it's hard to kind of decide what order because it's not really in kind of a linear start to finish order. So I tried to put each module with all the lessons that kind of had to do with each other. So Module 3 is about getting support. All right. So the first lesson in Module 3 is about books. So if you're a reader and you like to read, then there is all kinds of books out there for you to find about being widowed, about grief, about healing from grief, about living with grief. Some is specifically about being widowed. Some of it is about just grief in general and losing somebody you love. Some of it is faith-based. Some of it is secular-based. Some of it is meant to be, kind of funny and get you through that. Some of it's meant to be very serious. So, and in the lesson, I talk about what kind of books are out there. I have a list of books that are the most popular, that most people talk about and that say they have helped them. There's one book called It's Okay That You're Not Okay, I think is what it's called. Megan Devine, I think is her name. Honestly, I haven't read it yet, so I probably need to. I used to be a really big reader, and really the only reading that I do anymore is on a screen. I love to buy books, but actually taking the time to read them is just, it's a little overwhelming. And so it's like I collect these books and I'm like, I'm going to read this one day when I have free time. Shoot, put it on the shelf. So I have to watch myself because I will go overboard and buy all the books and not read all the books. So right now I'm reading the Bible. And so in order to keep me on track to read that, because I've never read the whole Bible from front to finish, and I feel like I would not be a good Christian if I did not. If I didn't. So I'm actually doing the YouTube channel where I read a little bit every day and I record it and I put it up. And mostly it's just to keep me accountable because I know that I have to put up that daily reading video every day. I mean, I've got like 20 subscribers, so it's not like, I'm not making money or anything off of it, but just knowing that I'm holding myself accountable to even 20 other people out there, 20 some people, keeps me on track. And it takes about 20 minutes a day. And so I just got finished reading day 107 last night and recording it and uploading it to schedule. So that's what I have to do to keep myself on track. And I'm doing good just to read the Bible right now. But there's another book it's back here behind me. It's called Defy the Odds. And it's not necessarily a grief book either, but it was written by our pastor. And he just released it about a month or so ago, and it's already like on the Amazon bestseller list, and they've sold hundreds of, I don't know, tens of thousands of copies, and it's supposed to be really good. That's the next thing on my list to read. So hopefully I can read that and then get into some other grief books. Anyway, checking to see if anybody is chatting here. Nope, no chats. All right, I'm on a different screen, so I can't see the chat box right now. So that's about books. Another lesson, I talk about Facebook groups. So obviously you're in one right now, or else you wouldn't be watching this video. That's a private Facebook group. And that one is specifically for our course. And it has a very pinpointed purpose. It's one of those short and sweet, it has a purpose, and then it's done. Our other Facebook group, if you haven't already joined, is our free general Facebook group. I think there's about 1,000 people in there. It's really, really supportive. It's full of really nice people. And if you're not already in there, which you probably are, I would highly recommend you to join that group. But anyway, in that lesson, we talk about different types of Facebook groups. There are tons of widowed and grief Facebook groups out there, but they have lots of different topics. So that's one of those buyer bewares. Shows you I go on the screen with you. I show you how to search, what kind of search terms to find, and then talk about, what you might come across when you're searching for Facebook groups, because they're not all for everybody. Some of them are faith-based. Some of them don't really talk about faith at all. Some of them are very non-faith, and they don't want you to talk about faith at all. Some of them are for humor. Some of them are for dark humor. Some of them are for young people. Some of them are for older people. Some of them are for parenting. I mean, you niche down and you can find a Facebook group that pretty much, caters to your needs. So, it just takes a lot of searching. And for me, it took searching and then joining a bunch of groups and then getting a feel for them, like as a group, and then realizing that some groups I really liked, some groups I really did not like, and I needed to leave. And then some groups were meant for me to do a lot of back and forth, to put in a lot, answer a lot of questions, be real active. Others, I just can go on there and I read and I lurk, I guess, and maybe pick up ideas about what people are, like general trends of what people are struggling with. So I can kind of get ideas of what to talk about in my videos. So some of it's, from my own research, but I also learn a lot by reading a lot of what other people are saying. It kind of helps me to understand in a bigger picture what people are going through grief-wise. Another lesson is about Grief Share. Grief Share is a specific group-based therapy it's always given in a church, so it's faith-based, but it has a very specific curriculum that they follow. There's a workbook. Usually it's free, but sometimes it's like $5 or $10 to help cover the cost of the materials. But it's 13 weeks, and you go once a week for 13 weeks, and then it loops around and starts over. So it's like a constant loop. So you don't have to start on week 1. You can start anytime and just go 13 weeks in a row and complete the whole circuit. So I go through what it's about, the topics that they talk about, how to find a group near you, how to sign up. Basically I show you on the website exactly how to get registered and search, and then talk about the different topics. At the time that I made the video, I had not been to any Grief Share meetings, but since then I did find a Grief Share group, and they meet at our church, which is right across the street from our house. And when I signed up, it just so happened that the first week was starting right then. And so I went ahead and signed up. I went to several meetings. It was very helpful. there's a video section. So you watch a video, like a DVD, and then you talk about the topics, and then you just kind of talk amongst yourselves with the group of other people. And I found the topics to be helpful. I found the videos to be a tad long. I wish they would have shortened them a little bit because they're like 40 minutes. And the only reason why I didn't go to every single one, there's two reasons. Number one was they met on Wednesday nights, and it was a pretty small group, maybe 6 or 7 people. And unfortunately, there was just one person who I liked her a lot. She was very nice, but she was very overbearing in her conversation and her personality, and she took over the conversation in the group. You know, when we were talking about that stuff in groups, and it was just really hard. It was almost a chore to try to get a word in edgewise. I felt like I was talking over her anytime I wanted to say anything. And then if I started to talk, she would talk over me and take over. And then she would talk forever. So, and I felt bad for her because I felt like she really must have needed to be there because she was just getting so much of it off her chest. But at the same time, I felt like I was there to give her the support that she needed, but I wasn't necessarily getting I wasn't getting that reciprocated. I wasn't getting the support that I might have needed to be able to talk about what I wanted to talk about because there never was enough time. And so it got harder and harder to go because I knew that's what was going to happen. It was a little frustrating, and I didn't want to cause waves, and I certainly didn't want to have like a confrontation or anything like that. It's just that, it became therapy for her. And then all of us kind of sat around and listened to her. And so that got old. Anyway, I think if it was a different group and a different dynamic, it would have been better, and I might try again. But now, since it's on Wednesday nights, I have also joined the choir at my church, and it now overlaps with choir practice. And so at this point, unless they offer it at a different time or a different day, then I won't be able to go unless I find a different church to go to. But that's another story. So anyway, that's Grief Share. I do think that if you don't mind it's not, they don't talk about the Bible every single time, but they do incorporate biblical teachings into their lessons and about grief healing. But so if you don't mind that, or if you enjoy that, or if you welcome that, the lessons themselves are very helpful. And they also put you on an email list, and they send you out email topics that will help too. So I do think it's a really good resource if you don't mind the faith-based part of it. Let me go back and see if anybody has chatted in yet. No. Okay. And then there's counseling. So I talk about counseling, about when you might be to that point where you need counseling. How will you know if you need counseling? Some people do need it. Some people don't need it. Some people need it sometimes. Other people need it all the time. Some people need it for a short period of time, and then they're okay, and then they come back, go back and forth. Most of the time, counseling, if you do need it, it's like you need to commit to it for a period of time, at least a few months before anything, will work. And so, and when I say counseling, I mean therapists, counselors, psychologists, things like that, either one-on-one, online, small group, things like that. I'm not talking about medicine. I'm not talking about medical doctors, just talking about counseling, talk therapy mostly. Cognitive behavioral therapy. There are different programs and different types of therapy that you can look up. So we go on the computer again and we look up how to maybe find some online counselors if you can't make it in person. We talk about the different costs of counseling and how some insurance covers and some doesn't. So how would you know, to go about finding one that's covered by your insurance, or just kind of going with a cash-based counselor. Some counselors will go on a sliding scale according to your income. So if you're low income, you might be able to find a counselor that will charge you less money based on the lower amount of income that you make. And then there's also faith-based counseling, which is what we do. And we were fortunate enough to find one that's right next door to our house, and it's free. They operate on donations. And so, it's kind of hard to get a spot in sometimes, because if it's free, everybody needs it and everybody wants to go. So sometimes there's a waiting list to get in. But once you get in and you get on a rotation, then you can stay and go. And they're based on donations. And so the therapy that we do, I do have a donation that I pay that comes out of my account every month. So it's not near the amount that I would pay if I was paying for private counseling, because we all pretty much pop in and out and go at different times. But even if I didn't donate anything, I could still go and get that free service. I just feel like it's not right for me to be able to. I pay what I can afford, which is not a whole lot, but I do give back and pay something. All right. And then there's doctors and meds. So that's another lesson. So when we talk about when would you know, or how do you know when it's time to see a doctor? What kind of medicines are there? And I don't push any specific medicine. I just talk about the different types that are out there, like the different families of medicines and what they do. Um, there are some medicines that are to take as needed, like for panic attacks and things like that, that you just take every once in a while to kind of calm you down. Then there's some types of medicines that you take every day, and it might take a little while to get into your system. Um, gosh, my kids have tried so many different kinds of medicine. Dewey took so many different types of medicines that it was mind boggling, the amounts of medicines that he took even before he got sick. And then they, a lot of times they were changing because obviously when you're dying, that comes with some depression, and that comes with some anxiety. And so he was having to take some things for that too. But my kids have tried different things. I've tried different things. I try to stay away from a lot of different medicines because I don't mind taking an as needed medicine. I'm not crazy about taking a medicine that I have to take every single day. So I do take like a thyroid medicine every day, but that's like a chemical I can't avoid. But as far as like mental, things that kind of mess with my brain chemistry and things like that, I try to stay away from medicines I have to take every day. I have taken them before, but along with medicines, there's always going to be some side effects and some other symptoms. So you might be, and medicine doesn't cure anything. So medicine covers up the symptoms of something, but it doesn't take away what's causing the symptoms to begin with. So that's just something to keep in mind. However, if you're in a point where you can't function because your brain is like, firing on all pistons or whatever, and you need something to calm yourself down, by all means, go get the medicine. And if you don't mind taking medicine every day, and it helps you to get into a state of mind where you can function, again, there's no guilt. It's a personal preference. So we talk about those things. Once you cover up something with medicine, you're going to cause other side effects with medicine. So it's not really about curing yourself. It's about which symptoms can you live with and which symptoms do you need medicine to make go away. And so you kind of have to weigh those out for yourself. And that's something that doctors will help. You can talk to them about. So we're talking about medical doctor, family doctor, general practitioner, psychiatrist, if you're a woman, possibly even some gynecologist, because they deal a lot with the female hormones and stuff like that. And so sometimes when our hormones get out of whack, it affects our moods in our brain, right? So anyway, we talk about all those kinds of things and options for you. Again, health insurance or not health insurance. I should probably add in a little thing about how to find cheap medicine using some apps, to find the best prices, like to shop around for the cheapest medicine. I found something recently. It's called GoodRx. You probably have heard of it, but I downloaded the app and I think I pay $10 a month, and it is amazing. I can get medicine even cheaper through that than my copay through insurance. So anyway, download GoodRx if you take any kind of medicines and check it out, because you might be able to find really cheap medicine. The next lesson is called Purpose Then Joy. I'm going to save that till last. Let me go to stages of grief. There's another lesson called Stages of Grief, and basically I had already made a video about that on YouTube, and I talked all about it. So that's the only video that's in the course that's also a public YouTube video. So I only repurposed one video out of the 28 that it's helpful, but it's also a video that anybody could see on YouTube. So I just basically, divert you to that link and let you go watch it. So anybody can go see that one. So you might have already watched that one. And then the last one I want to talk about for today is Purpose Then Joy, which means some people are in such a low place that the valley of grief that they're in is so low, like they're at the very bottom, that they're probably bordering on clinical depression, or they're really stuck in a bad case of complicated grief, which means you're basically stuck in grief and anger and you can't get out and you don't even want to at that point. And so some people are just like, they can't even visualize themselves being happy or even smiling or even feeling 1 ounce of joy at all. If you're at that point, this course might not be it's probably a good resource for you in addition to some other things, like as a supplemental resource, but this course is probably not, alone not going to get you out of that rut. However, if you're in this course and you are there and you're seeking some other support options like some medicine or some counseling or things like that, then we talk about how to switch your mindset from, okay, if you can't feel happy, okay, then let's step back a little bit and let's try to help you find purpose. Like, you're here for a reason. You survived the death of your spouse, and so you're still here for some reason. If you don't know what that reason is, that's your first step. Find your purpose. Why are you still here? Are you here to help yourself? Are you here to help other people? Are you here to make a difference in the world? Are you here to make a difference in one person's world? Are you here to be an example for other people who are going through grief? Like, there's so many different things and places for you to fit yourself in. But if you don't find your purpose, then you won't seek it out and you won't go make any moves, any purposeful moves to get yourself there. Right. So it's kind of like an internal, okay, let's not try to make ourselves happy. Let's go back a step and say, well, let's just try to find out what my purpose is right now. Because once you find your purpose and then you start working towards that and you put yourself in that place, you start helping others. If you can't find joy for yourself, you can help others find joy. And once you start doing that, then you will get joy internally from seeing that you helped others. And then you can talk about feeling joy and getting to that place. So if the joy area for you is too far away, too many steps, then we'll just take baby steps and we'll get through what is my purpose. And so we kind of help you with that mindset to talk about, how do you find it? What is the thought process to go through it? How do you know what your purpose is? How do you find it, etc. So we talk a lot about that in that lesson. All right. So that is week 3, and it's not really week. I know I call it week 3. I should call it module 3 because I don't want you to try to go through these lessons one a day. First of all, it's impossible unless you did nothing but sit in your house and sit on the computer all day and then spend the rest of the day thinking and doing homework and filling out charts and all that stuff. But you have a life aside from just trying to get yourself to go through this grief pivot course, right? So it's not really meant to be like one lesson a day. It's meant to be one lesson at a time. So maybe 1 a week or 2 a week. And then maybe you'll fly through a couple because they're not as in depth. Like you might go through and watch the one about books and then go do a little bit of research and then order yourself a few books on Amazon and wait for them to come in. And then when they come in, you read them. Okay. That one's not too in depth. But the one about, maybe the one about purpose and joy, that one might be one that you really want to sit and ruminate about for a little while and think about and let it brew in your brain and go out there and try to figure out what is my purpose. And that could take a little while to try to find, and that could take some trial and error. So hopefully you have been making your way through the course lessons. If you're not in module 3 yet, that's fine. You probably don't have enough time to have gotten there yet. But hopefully you've gotten through a few lessons. You don't have to go through them in order. That's, to me, a logical steps to do and kind of helps to keep you on track. But if you want to skip a lesson because you don't feel like talking about that, or you don't feel like you need help in that one area and you want to go to another lesson, or one lesson stands out because you really feel like you need to think about that topic, and so you pick that out and you just do it, that's fine too. It's your course. Even when the Facebook group closes, you will still have, you won't have access to Facebook or these live sessions, but you will have access to the course and all the lessons that are in there and all the videos and all the printables. You'll have that forever. So don't try to, think you have to rush through it. But if you really want to get to that place of healing, if you really want to get help from the course, you got to take the lessons. So, it's a balancing act. So my challenge to you is, if you haven't started the course yet, do one lesson. Do lesson 1. That's the best intro lesson there is, because it requires some homework and you have to write a letter to yourself, to your future self. So if you haven't started the course or watched any lessons, watch lesson 1 and do the homework. If you've started and you've kind of gotten off track or whatever, then if you haven't done a lesson in over a week, then pick a lesson, any lesson, pull that out and do that lesson. At least watch the videos and think about it. Okay, so that's my challenge to you, is do one lesson this week, and then report back in the Facebook group to let me know what lesson you did. Give me some feedback on if it helped, if it can be improved, questions you might have about it. Just, give me some feedback on it, because I want to make this the best resource for you that I can in this area. I can't do that if I don't get any feedback from you. I've gotten good feedback, a little bit of good feedback. I haven't gotten really any bad feedback, but I feel like the reason why is just because there hasn't been enough people gone through the group to give me any kind of feedback one way or the other. And we also need to give it some time to give people time to get through a bulk of the lessons to see if it actually helps them. It's going to take a while before it helps you too. You got to put the work in. All right, so I'm going to let you go so you can get to work. Do a lesson today. You're already here watching this video. I just told you about 7 of those lessons. Pick one of those 7 if they are of interest to you, and check it out and see, if it might be of any help to you. So that's my live session for the day. I hope to be able to do live session number 4 sometime coming up this week. I'll probably have to be in the afternoon, evening time. So if there's a better time or day for you guys to be able to attend live, let me know. And I don't see anybody in the chat, so I'm wondering if maybe I see 2 people are watching. Maybe you can't go into the chat. Maybe it's locked for you or something. Anyway, if you have questions or comments or anything like that, feel free to go to the Facebook group and just let me know. And if I need to do another live and cover some questions that I didn't cover today, I can do that too. All right. So we have a birthday party today. My daughter turned 12 on Wednesday, and she's going to the skating rink. So we're going to go skating. I got to go pick up her cookie cake. So I got a full day today. We're going to be running around doing stuff with family. It's going to be tiring, but it's going to be fun. We're going to be doing some wholesome family stuff. And so that's always a good thing. And my recorded, if you see this before 4:00 today, my recorded session is coming up at 4:00. And so I talk about, I just made it last night. What did I talk about? Oh, I talk about me starting therapy. Yeah. So I'm going to start therapy, even though I'm the one that says, oh, therapy's not for me. Well, guess what? I guess it's going to be for me. I'm going to give it a try. So I talk about the reasons why and what I'm going to do and all that stuff. So if you're thinking about doing therapy, then you might want to watch that. It might be helpful to you. All right. That's going to wrap it up for today. Stay safe and go out there and do some things for yourself. Make yourself happy. Do something to put a smile on your face today. And just do something that brings you joy. Make one step in that direction. That's all we can do, right? Reach out if you need help. That's what I'm here for. And take care of yourselves. Be kind to yourselves. And I care about you. And hang in there. You're not alone. All right. Have a good weekend. And we'll see you at the next live session. Bye.